Supreme Court heard arguments in what many are calling the most important television case in the past 30 years. At the center of the case is Aereo, a company which provides consumers the ability to watch and record live over-the-air television channels by streaming content to their smartphones and computers. But television broadcasters are arguing that Aereo is violating copyright law by rebroadcasting their content to American consumers. Joining me now for more on Aereo and its Supreme Court battle is Jeff John Roberts, staff writer at Gigaom.com. Jeff, welcome.
Hi,
have I mispronounced either the name of the company or of your website?
You got about 50%. Yeah, the service is called Aereo, and Gigaom, we're a Silicon Valley site that reports on this stuff. But yeah.
So what's the essence of this case?
The essence is a new way to watch TV. The economic force under sort of driving it is the rising cost of cable and frustration with having to buy a big bundle of channels when people want to start buying them individually. And so what Aereo did is it started in Brooklyn and it rents you an individual antenna. Aereo says what it is it's a remote pair of rabbit ears attached to a DVR, if that makes sense.
One antenna for one customer.
Exactly.
So they can't be accused of mass rebroadcast.
Exactly. Because since the 1976, in the past, when cable first started, they put up a big antenna, grabbed the over-the-air signals, and distributed it to everyone. In response, Congress changed the law and says you can't do that. Those signals, you can't go and take them. You can't retransmit them. Aereo says, wait a minute, what we're doing is, since everyone has their own antenna, those are all personal performances. So it's a legal loophole, but they have a good argument.
So it's basically a remote control pair of rabbit ears.
Yes.
Over the web.
Yes, attached to a DVR. So, for instance, I've used Aereo. If I want to watch something on NBC or Fox, any over-the-air station, I can stream it to myself. There's a few second delay, or I can record it for later.
Yeah, and the record it for later is a system that you're recording on their hard drives.
They're renting you an antenna and a personal DVR for $8 a month. That's the appeal.
It's a pretty good deal.
Also, you can watch it on your smartphone, on your tablet. You can walk around the city watching TV. Now,
the TV broadcasters are saying this is going to endanger billions of dollars in fees that either they get from the cable companies or the other way around. Please enlighten me.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you got people saying, but wait a minute, this is the internet, you're going to stifle innovation if we go back to rules that were made, for the 1950s.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it's at this level, of course, both sides say the sky's going to fall. Let's start with the broadcasters. If you allow Aereo, this little antenna service, well, the TV business will blow up, is what they're saying, where suddenly the internet's going to grab all the TV money, and that's that. So, but the interesting thing is that's the same argument they made 30 years ago. You probably
about
remember
DVRs?
Yeah, or what we called then Betamaxes.
Yeah,
remember that? The most famous case
that.
since today's case is called Betamax. Yeah. And when they first put out these things, it allowed you to record over-the-air signals in your living room. My God, the sky was going to fall.
And their argument was that people would fast forward past the commercials.
Yeah, and that's taking our signals and so on. Yeah. That was 30 years ago, 5-4 decision. The Supreme Court said, the court said, we think this is okay. The sky didn't fall. Since then, we've had things like VHS, DVRs, and it's just the way we watch TV has evolved. Right. Aereo says we're part of that continuum. Lighten up, it's not that big a deal.
Right. And then on the other side, they're saying?
Well, TV's saying you can't allow this because it's simply a Rube Goldberg device is the phrase they've seized on. Aereo's basically kind of hacked the system, found a loophole. Right. Can't allow this. Supreme Court shut Aereo down. However, the interesting part, and this is where it gets a bit complicated, on Aereo's side are all the big Silicon Valley companies, Google and Dropbox and services like that say, wait a minute, these days consumers put all of their media in the cloud. You might have a Gmail drive or Yahoo drive or Dropbox account. And these places are an iTunes account. That's where we store our media. So everyone's putting their media in there. If you're playing your file and I'm playing a file that's the same one at the same time, is that a public performance? I realize it's a complicated argument, but that's what Silicon Valley is saying. Don't allow this. Don't allow Hollywood to get all up in the cloud innovation. And if this happens, then this could threaten the whole cloud. So that's the other sky's falling scenario.
Given how the individual justices were responding to the arguments that were made, what's your sense of which way the court's going to go on this? And you said the court has stopped this. Have they enjoined Aereo?
No, not yet. It was a 2-1 decision at the Second Circuit in New York. There hasn't, and that's of course what the broadcasters are asking. What's the outcome? It's hard because unlike campaign finance or abortion, where you kind of know where everyone stands,
right.
in this one it's harder. Justice Roberts was very skeptical of the antenna technology, but they also seem to grasp, wait a minute, this local over-the-air signals that are free anyways, you can use rabbit ears, who cares where the rabbit ears are? Right. So, however, they're also suspicious, wait a minute, Aereo, why all these little antennas? This is sort of a hack. So, the smart money is saying probably they're going to shut it down, but it's not a sure bet at all.
And if they shut it down, what would the basis for that be? Or might they just throw it to Congress?
Yeah, well, or they could. Either way, someone's going to run to Congress and say, "This is, you got to do something. You got to change the system." If they don't shut it down, believe me, the broadcasters and the sports leagues are going to be right at Congress the next day.
Not to mention the cable companies.
Yeah, the cable companies are a bit mixed about the whole thing because the reason cable bills keep going up is the retransmission fees. If you want to include CBS or NBC or all those channels in your cable package, they're demanding money from the cable companies. Right now, ABC and CBS get most of their money from advertising, but increasingly it's from those retransmission fees.
Right.
I mean, the business of TV is complicated.
So,
but
the whole and all the business models are in flux, and then you throw the web into this, and
yeah.
the whole untethering, untying phenomena. People just disconnect.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. If you want to go really meta about the whole thing, think what happened to the music industry. If you wanted to get that song a while ago, you had to buy a CD. And the industry often would throw 11 junky songs on there,
right.
but you had to buy it to get the one. Same thing with news. You had to read that story, you had to buy the whole newspaper. Right. The internet disaggregated those services.
Right.
Same thing with books. TV is the only one they haven't been able to break. And so that's why when you go to subscribe to Dish or Comcast or whatever, you get 200 channels, even though you only want to watch 10
So this
of
could
them.
be, I mean, the prime time rule really opened up, Mary Tyler Moore Enterprises, Stephen J. Cannell, they burst open the industry. This could be the next prime time rule.
Yeah, it's going to push people towards what they call cord cutting,
yeah.
where it means, and there's these kids in college who've never had a cable subscription, so.